Arguably the most pretentious filmmaker in all of Hollywood, Paul Thomas Anderson, is back once again with another award bait film, one battle after another, this time starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, and several other way too serious actors and actresses for a film that really couldn't be coming out at a worse time. It is supposed to make people empathize and sympathize with the cause of an Antifa-like group, and honestly, it is everything. It checks every single box that you would normally associate with modern movie slop, and honestly, critics love it. The press loves it. They think that it's great, and if you don't like it, you're probably just too stupid to understand what is going on. So yes, one battle after another banks on word of mouth for box office boost. San Sebastian Film Festival scene, because yes, it's one of these movies that if you do not indulge in, your media diet is not exactly complete. So yes, in years that have gone by, yes, talking down from on high has been the modus operandi for several different studios, and with all the pretension and preening, they would force their way into award season, and then they'd get their due there. And God, this is even going back pre-2016 and stuff, back when the Oscars used to mean something, but when you would get that role of, I've heard of that actor before, but what the hell what's that film? Or, oh, this one's nominated for a Best Picture. Oh, okay, cool. I don't get it. I've never even heard of that before. When you would have the likes of, like, what, Chocolat or Chicago. It's like, oh, we know exactly why that's up for awards. Nobody's watched it, but all of the most connected people in Hollywood made a movie, and they would just, there's nothing that Hollywood loves more. Well, actually, it's probably preaching to the audience, but there's nothing that Hollywood appreciates more than patting themselves on the back. It's a close second with preaching about how good they are to the world, but that doesn't have a little statue associated with it. But yes, thinking that, good word of mouth, okay, maybe this is one of those films, right? It's just such an up its own ass premise that, yeah, it might seem a little bit inaccessible. But there are some films that are presented like that are actually good films when it's all said and done. So if it can get past that veneer, maybe it'll have wide stream appeal. But yeah, it ended up debuting this past weekend. Okay, it was, I guess, the big release that is out there. And hey, you know what? I got some good news and I got some bad news. We'll start with the good news first, because good news is ended up being the #1 film of the weekend. The #1 film of the weekend. Bad news is, yeah, it didn't exactly do all that well. Okay, and it had a wide-ass release. 3,600 theaters. Far and away the most screens for any specific film at this point in time. And, well, it's not doing great. Okay, Warner Brothers, you guys kind of failed on that one. That was supposed to be, isn't this supposed to be the movie that is supposed to take the baton for you to be the 8th consecutive $40 million domestic box office? Oh no, kind of broke that trend. And yeah, you take a look at that cast listing. Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro, Regina Hall, Teyana Taylor, Chase Infiniti. I have no idea who the rest of those people are. But Regina Hall of the Woman King fame? Like, come on, man. You guys couldn't even do anything better than $48 million worldwide. That's tough, man. That's tough. Leonardo DiCaprio's Antifa movie, one battle after another, flops at the box office despite Hollywood media spin, because they love it. And oh yeah, at this point in time, it's like, I thought this was AI because I seen somebody else's thumbnail. I forget exactly whose it was, but I was thinking, it's like, okay, maybe you guys are like parodying this movie or something like that, and you just generated, pregnant black woman carrying a machine gun. Oh my god, yeah, she's the biggest ass kicker in the film. But no, this is actually in the film. You guys thought this was a good idea in 2025, huh? All the way through this year. We're on the doorstep of October. We are 9 months, 3/4 of the way through 2025, and you haven't learned your lesson yet? Fucking oof. Leonardo DiCaprio is used to being called a box office sure thing. Kind of, I guess. I don't know. Never really thought about that. Never really considered him. Always considered him, like, I don't really like a lot of his movies. I don't think that he's overrated. It's just the stuff that he's in, it's not really for me. Never really has been. But I never really consider him, in that same bracket as many of his other contemporaries. But yeah, being a bomb, yeah, no, I guess I can meet you halfway on that one. He's definitely not somebody I would associate with too many misfires. His name combined with the director Paul Thomas Anderson. Oh my god, the guy that makes the same fucking film over and over again and gets way too much praise for it. I Heart Huckabee's The Grand Budapest Hotel? Didn't he also do Lost in Translation? He does all of those fucking pretentious bullshit fucking art house films. But anyways, was supposed to deliver a prestige box office hit with one battle after another because there's nothing going on right now. Legitimately, nothing is happening. So yeah, why not trot this out right now? A lot of big names, like legitimate, and at a time when the movie star is actually dead. Like Leo's probably one of those names that you would say, you're definitely in that A or S tier ranking. But instead, the film has stumbled out of the gate with an opening that exposes just how desperate Hollywood media can be to put a lipstick on a flop. The numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you at sacrifice. Over its opening weekend, one battle after another managed $22.4 million domestically and $48.5 million worldwide. On paper, that was good enough for a #1 debut, but context is everything. The production budget, $130 million. Fucking oof. Marketing budget, at least $70 million. Break-even target, yes, around $300 million globally. Spoilers, it's never going to get to that level. And that's even a breakdown from, shill page Culture Crave. Oof, that's tough, man. This is a steep mountain for the film. They can't even crack $25 million in North America on its opening weekend. For comparison, other prestige blockbusters like Napoleon opened higher and still ended up in financial quicksand. Yeah, exactly. Ridley Scott, Joaquin Phoenix, oh my god. Kind of a fun action spin on the most, I would say, as a moderate student of history, one of the most revered and successful commanders of all time, probably one of the most famous people, full stop, and that couldn't happen. That's tough, man. That's tough. But yes, if you read Variety or the other access shills, you might think that the picture is rosier than it really is. Los Angeles Times ran with the headline, one battle after another lands solidly at the box office. Well, yeah, kind of like how a turd can land solidly at the bottom of your toilet bowl with a $22 million debut. New York Times described sales as solid, with an asterisk, and conceded profitability remains a big question. No, not really. It's already been sussed out. I guess it could be a big question if you only had like the Friday numbers, but now that we've got a complete picture, yeah, it's not making profit at all whatsoever. Variety chose to say the film landed solidly. Oh wow, that's the byline, huh? It's kind of like whenever a new Marvel film comes out. Remember, guys, the Thunderbolts is our grounded and gritty approach, okay? We're going back to basics. This is our first and best example of quality over quantity. But anyways, yes, notice the word of the weekend, solid. It is a choice designed to reassure, even though every financial reality points to the opposite direction. A $22 million domestic launch is a $200 million plus spend is not solid. It is, well, trash, yes. An Antifa movie, critics say yes, and this is why they love it so much. Multiple critics have drawn attention to the way the movie portrays a fictional militia or a militant group called the French 75. Sure, their tactics, bombings, bank raids, jailbreaks echo the playbook of a left-wing urban insurgencies of the 20th century. Hollywood in Toto argued the film cast an Antifa-style group as its heroes, while the San Francisco Chronicle described the film, referring to its protagonist, as an allegory that involves Antifa-like, yes, a left-wing extremist, a well-funded right-wing militia group, and immigrants avoiding ICE. Wow. Daily Beast went further, calling it a gonzo Antifa rallying cry. And at this point in time, now that Antifa has been officially declared a domestic terrorist organization, or at least that was the EO that Trump sent out a couple days back, not exactly great timing, because whenever shit like this comes around, it's kind of like that fucking fake-ass civil war that was happening in Los Angeles over the summer. It's a wildly losing talking point for the left, and that's why they've been kind of trying to walk that stuff back, okay? Outside of a fucking head case over there on Twitch and his audience of a bunch of brainwashed idiots that have nothing better to do with their time. Like the whole illegal immigrant thing, getting rid of ICE, doesn't really exist, okay? That's not a winning proposition with the everyday people. So to try to get them to go out there, oh my god, support communist talking points by buying a ticket to go to the theater, you're never going to win. That is one of the least popular with the general public discussion points. And even if you put a lot of glitz, a lot of glamour, big names on a project, if you got a shaky premise, it's not going to be solid at the box office. The only thing that's going to be solid is that brick upside the head you're probably still going to get if you're still living in one of these fucking blue cities in 2025. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.